I think both, come to us weekly and by people who are very kind to give their time and their knowledge. Our company itself is actually a 46. We're 47 years old at this point. And the company, just to give you a little background, entered the marketplace that many years ago with a product you're all familiar with today. We were the company that actually invented smoke detectors for the home. And then diversifying over the years, obviously that first product was one that was extremely successful. We diversified in the early 80s, going into the field of water filtration and air filtration, and then 24 years ago entered the field of health technology with Juice Plus and the Juice Plus family of products. And so if you look at our focus as a company, it's always been safety, health, and well-being for mankind. Safety, clean air, clean water, pure food, and all of those things very basic to health. We've also had many people who have entered our profession with our company come to us from so many different walks of life, and many people who are not only very scientific-based, but physicians, people in the medical world who really have found this to be something, I guess you would say, unusual if we look at health and the support of good health. And tonight we have someone that all of us who know her love and respect. She's worked with us now many years, but is one of the most knowledgeable people I know as far as the work that she does in medicine. And you'll hear tonight from Dr. Tamara Sachs. She is a National Marketing Director with our company. She's from New Milford, Connecticut. She specializes in internal medicine. She is an MD. She also specializes in functional medicine and integrative care. Dr. Sachs graduated with honors in 1985 from Mount Sinai School of Medicine and completed her internship and residency in internal medicine in 1988 at San Rafael Hospital and Yale University. She studied naturopathy in France for 3 years and is a graduate member of the Institute of Functional Medicine. Dr. Sachs worked as an emergency medicine doctor for 4 years and started her private practice in 1990. She has served on the advisory boards of several organizations, including Women's Heart Health, the National Coalition for Women and Heart Disease. So being the month of February, and of course Valentine's not only reminds us of the people we love, but the hearts that go along with those people. And so tonight we're going to talk about, or I should say Dr. Sachs is going to talk about, and I'm going to have the pleasure of listening. She'll speak to you about the heart of the matter. So, Dr. Sachs, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. This is a fun tradition we have going now, every Valentine's year.
Every Valentine's year.
That's great. It gives me a chance to kind of update myself a little bit too, so I appreciate it as well. So the heart of the matter, I want to just make this circle bigger and explain to all of you what I think of when I think of the cardiovascular system, because that's really what we're talking about. It's not just the heart. It's actually a system that affects a lot more of us than you might think. And it's a lot more than just heart disease. It's actually the entire circulatory system. It's the system of arteries and veins and your heart itself, the pump, and the in-between connections called capillaries, where all the exchange of food and oxygen actually happens. But that whole system, that carries your blood, your life force, right? Really, your life force. It carries it once around your whole body every 20 seconds. It's amazing. Or it doesn't carry it around your body every 20 seconds, and that's the problem we're all trying to avoid. So cardiovascular disease encompasses a lot of things besides heart disease. It encompasses blood pressure, high blood pressure, called hypertension. It also encompasses erectile dysfunction, which is a problem of blood flow. And it also includes clots, which can cause strokes, or emboli, which can hurt or kill as well. Lots of different ways to have cardiovascular things go wrong, as well as the more familiar heart attacks and strokes. In addition, there's about a quarter of all dementias are released from lack of blood flow, and mini strokes or larger strokes that cause dementia. So it touches all of us. Cardiovascular disease is not just about heart attacks It's not about the whatever stereotypical type A businessman. In fact, women get more heart disease and die from heart attacks and heart disease per se to the tune of about 50,000 a year more than men do, and that's not changed in the 10 years that I've been talking about this, which is also very frustrating. But it's true that women that die from heart disease tend to be older, but not always and not as much as it used to be. This is unfortunately becoming a disease of younger and younger people. And in fact, deaths from cardiovascular disease as a whole far exceed deaths from all cancers combined. This is a huge problem, and it really does affect all of us. And we know that it's a progressive disease, and so the sooner we start taking care of our blood vessels and preventing problems to our blood vessels, the better. But the good news is that for 30 years now, there's consistent research over and over and over. There's never been anything to refute it that says that 70-75% of all cardiovascular disease is preventable. Let me clarify that, adult cardiovascular disease is preventable with diet and lifestyle. 70 to 75% is preventable with diet and lifestyle. And yet, we've known this for 30 years, and we're still talking about it, but not doing much about it. You know, we see a lot more commercials on television for drugs than we do for food as medicine, that's for sure. You've got to always remember what they're trying to sell you and who's selling it to you. But the fact remains that scientifically that is a wrong ratio. There is 7 to 3 more evidence for lifestyle and food in particular. So I was thinking about doing this evening, and I thought back to the first time I had the pleasure of speaking to my whole Juice Plus family as a whole like this, a big group of you about cardiovascular disease. It was at the Phoenix Convention Center in 2008. And I closed that talk by saying something that became something that people liked, but I said over and over, but I really believe it's true. And what I said was, if you knew what I knew, you would never let the people you love go a day without eating a lot of fresh produce and without taking their Juice Plus capsules. And that was in 2008 when we had less than half, or about 12 studies showing that cardiovascular disease and their markers were incredibly improved with Juice Plus in controlled clinical trials. And now we've doubled that number again, so I stand behind that statement. And if you knew what I knew refers to if you've read all the studies the way I have read all the studies, because this is one of my passions. So I have to confess, though, that before being on stage in Phoenix in 2008, I was more of a cynic rather than a believer. The very first time I was introduced to Juice Plus is like 18 years ago now, which is amazing and wonderful. I'm very blessed having taken it this long. But when I first heard about it, I thought it was snake oil. Let me just be honest here. I was not skeptical. I was completely cynical. I was convinced that you could not do this, and that even if you could, you know, put fruits and vegetables in a capsule, that is, even if you could do it, the processing would, you know, burn everything up, and it must be nonsense. And I gradually went from cynic to skeptic, just hearing and recognizing the integrity of the people that I was talking to at the company, and the integrity of the people like Richard Du Bois and Mitra Ray that I was listening to opened my mind. And then when I finally read the research, at the time there were 5 published peer-reviewed studies of amazing caliber. When I actually read them page to page, front to end, and I'll admit a lot of the references as well, I was ecstatic. I was just so excited to have found something that was not snake oil, that actually delivered on its promise, and that was mind-blowing in a way. I mean, 18 years ago, I had one other problem 18 years ago besides being a cynic and then a skeptic, was taking that mental jump from a multivitamin to a whole food concentrate. It took me a little while, just saying. 18 years ago, it wasn't as well-worn a path as it is now. Excuse me. In fact, the whole term whole food concentrate didn't exist, really. I think Richard Du Bois invented it, but this company certainly invented the concept and the product. And 18 years ago, that wasn't really the case, but you know, ever the researcher, I looked, and after careful research, there is not one study that can be found showing that multivitamins have ever had any benefit on anybody, except one exception: third world countries, third world children that are malnourished. That doesn't quite require rocket science. But for anybody else, over 60 years of looking at multivitamins and trying to prove that they worked, no one can. That's a long time to look for something without proof. So, when you compare that to the exploding research on food concentrates, it's kind of an obvious thing in retrospect, but 18 years ago it wasn't. And the other thing that's new, well, at least new to me, I'm sure 18 years ago it was not new to anyone in this field, but the idea of synergy. And this is important because synergy is what makes biology run. And synergy means that 1 plus 1 is something way greater than 2. 1 plus 1 might equal 100 or 1,000. But that's what synergy is. We we understand now, not just from a theoretical, but in the lab itself, measuring things, we understand that a small amount of hundreds or thousands of plant nutrients work together synergistically at lower doses than we ever thought were important, if you will, because they're working together rather than large doses of a few isolated vitamins. So, for example, once you take the vitamin C pill, you use that vitamin C, it might be 1,000 milligrams, but you only can use it once. It gives up its antioxidant nature, but then it becomes the opposite, and you have to kind of get rid of it. Whereas in food, it's recycled by its thousands of buddies, phytonutrients. They hang out together, and they help each other along. And so there are now plentiful studies showing that the very teeny amount of vitamin C in just a little bit of an apple, in 100 grams of an apple, which is only a tenth of the vitamin C that you might take in a pill, works better than the 1,000 milligrams you might take as a whole pill in the whole food form. So synergy became, a much bigger thing, and so that's helped us understand how a whole food concentrate can be so much more effective than science, medical people that weren't thinking kind of commonsensically, I guess, because the other way to look at this is just evolutionarily and simply cells evolved. We evolved on this planet eating food, eating plants. That's what we did. We were nourished, and we evolved by being nourished by densely rich plant foods as our staple. Yeah, we hunted. We were hunter-gatherers. We were omnivores. Many of us still are. But we survived and thrived and grew our brains over time by eating fish and eggs and whatever we could catch. But let's face it, we're terrible hunters. Our subsistence, our staple, were plants. And they were densely nutritious, bitter plants, and we ate them in abundance. And guess what? We still need to. We don't have that option. To be healthy, we have to eat a lot of nourishing plants because that's what our cells demand. There just is not a default or a backup plan or a French fry plan B. This doesn't work. So going back to preventing and even reversing, which I didn't mention, but that's also been shown to be possible, coronary artery disease and the entire system. Diet is clearly the most powerful tool. In these 30-plus years of study, huge studies, many of them, some of them over a decade long, over thousands and thousands of people in many countries all over Europe being followed. I mean, these are not statistical studies I'm talking about. I don't really like those very much, where you kind of assume cause and effect. No, these are actual studying large groups of people and dividing them up by what they do, how they eat, and how they exercise, and if they smoke or not, and so on. And those studies have consistently shown that a basic lifestyle that's good gets you so far. You got to not smoke. You got to get some basic exercise. They called it being ambulatory and moving your body every day, like taking the stairs, going shopping for yourself, not CrossFit, right? Just something normal every day. I found that was critical, but it only got you so far. And then what you could then add to that made the biggest difference by far was diet. And so the Lyon study, the Mediterranean study, the Hale study, or the DASH diet, for those of you that are medical on the phone, are just 4 huge big examples. There are, honestly, 30 more. All of them have as the active arm of the study, eating a huge amount of plants. 10-plus serving is the DASH study. That's where it started. 10-plus servings of fresh, good plant servings a day, every day for the entire study. When people did that, that reduced the causes of death, the risk, rather, of death from everything, all causes of death. But specifically for heart disease, for heart attacks, just following a Mediterranean diet and doing basic things versus doing basic things and not following a Mediterranean diet decreased your chance of dying from a heart attack by 70%. 70%. Nothing's ever been shown to do that. Lipitor and those kind of drugs at best get 30-35% with side effects and other issues. Not to say they're not sometimes useful, but that's a far cry from a diet getting 70% fewer heart attacks and 60% fewer secondary heart attacks in that group of people. And we know that blood pressure can be lowered and even controlled using a DASH diet, which is 10 plus servings again. And we also know what's interesting is that there's no maximum effect on the improvement in your health that you can get the more servings of vegetables and berries that you eat. It never levels off. 7 servings is not as good as 9 servings. And 11 servings is even better. And 13 is even better. And it goes on and on. In the Nurses Cooperative Study, which is a huge ongoing study, they found that there was no topping off servings of spinach and broccoli towards decreasing all sorts of things in women's health down the road, osteoporosis and vision problems and other kinds of things, including heart disease. So there's no max effect, but how many of us eat this stuff in that amount day in, day out? That's kind of the problem. I think I'm pretty good at doing it, but not every single day. I travel, I have a life. Sometimes I'm not that hungry. Sometimes I don't have that much time. It's a lot of servings. It's a lot of food to chew. So we know that the nutrients in these colorful plant foods do a bunch of specific things that make sense for these effects that we're seeing. It makes sense that we can lower mortality by 60%, even in the elderly, by changing their diet, because nutrients in plant-based foods do 4 really huge things that you all should know about. They reduce inflammation. A lot of us know that now, but it's been shown over and over again, plant-based diets and colorful plant foods reduce inflammation. And we have multiple studies, 4 specifically, using Juice Plus and a control clinical trial showing reduction in systemic inflammation in the control group that took Juice Plus. Excuse me. Actually, one of those studies only even used the red and the green, and even that worked. The other studies used the purple as well. Colorful plant foods support our detox systems. In fact, the detox system is an entirely 2-part system, genetics and nutrition, and the genes give you the recipe, the nutrients give you the ingredients, and those ingredients are mostly found in plant-based foods. High antioxidants are required, and that's the third category that nutrients that are found in colorful plant foods are antioxidants. And we need antioxidants to neutralize the damage from free radicals. And that damage is also called oxidative stress, just to complicate things. There's a lot of words there, but antioxidants are the good stuff, the things that we eat in plant foods, and free radicals are the dangerous electrons that shoot around and damage whatever structures they touch, whether it be your DNA or your muscles or a bone or whatever it's nearby. And so we want enough antioxidants in our diet to neutralize those free radicals before they hurt us too much, before they hurt us to the point of causing something serious, because we know that all diseases, every single one, at some level begins with free radical damage, whether it's from a toxin or a gene gone bad or any number of different issues. At the end of the day, it's a free radical that gets ahead of things. So antioxidants in colorful foods are that important to have, not once in a while, not every other day, not here and there. That's the key. That's the difference, is every day. We also, the fourth thing that plants do is they feed us. Essentially, like I said before, they provide the food that our cells are designed to really consume and thrive on. So we know that food does it. All these studies have shown that 10 plus servings a day of really good stuff, colorful and a variety, then if that's true, then if Juice Plus is as good as I think, we should see the same results. And in fact, we do. So 18 years ago, we had 5 studies. In 2008, we had, I don't remember, I think 19 or so. We had 12 in heart disease. And now there's over 36 studies that are, I'm laughing because it's such a huge amount. It's like unbelievable, a body of research that we now have, that we even have a study that looks at our studies as a whole, because we have so much data on this very controlled nutritional supplement that is whole food. It's unique. It's so clean with the NSF certificate that anyone is comfortable using it. So we have studies in pregnant women because our product is so completely, perfectly controlled and made from the seed to the capsule and so well tested rigorously that even the Olympic Committee endorsed, several countries, Germany and Switzerland, have all endorsed the Juice Plus product. I don't know what's a bigger what's a bigger importance, a pregnancy study or the Olympic Committee? They're kind of equally high up there that you have to have something really clean and good to get past those two kinds of peoples. But anyway, so food does it. We know that over and over again, and we know that Juice Plus does it in very similar ways. So just in cardiovascular disease alone, there are now 18 studies using Juice Plus. And they've shown, for example, University of Maryland showed that blood vessels are able to stay more elastic. They can expand and contract the way they're supposed to, even when we eat a bad fat meal, because bad fats make our blood vessels constrict and harden a few hours after we eat it. But these researchers showed that people that took Juice Plus before they ate that meal did not have that effect. It was pretty remarkable. And there's other studies at Vanderbilt University, and it's international. We have studies at University of Milan in Italy, Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, and there's one currently underway looking at over 100 different markers of metabolism. That's going to be available in a few years. It's going to be pretty remarkable. But we already have so much information that we can take advantage of to help our lifestyle because, eating is great, but eating the 30 things that are in Juice Plus with their skin and the seeds and the stems and those dark leaves at the bottom of the broccoli, that's stuff we don't eat. And even if we did, we'd have to chew like a cow all day long to release the nutrients from the fiber, and that's what the processing of Juice Plus does for us. So those are all really huge advantages to what we have, even compared to real food. Not that Juice Plus replaces real food. We're very careful to never say that because we don't think that's true. We think it's a complement to food. It's just perfect what it is. We eat as well as we can, and then we have this capsule made of 30 raw, densely nutritious, vine-ripened, quickly harvested at the peak of ripeness foods that are processed in such a way to maintain as much as possible. And that's not just all talk because then we go and prove it in a study over and over and over and over that it actually works. And, in all these studies that involve well over 2,000 people now, these are all people studies, right? I should have said that, but clinical research to me is people, not hamsters, not, test tubes, not petri dishes, and other companies that say they have studies, they really mean people studies. In fact, I've never seen another people study in the nutrition field except for a couple, and not like these. But anyway, those studies never showed harm, ever. It's only been benefit, and significant benefit, meaning statistically significant benefit. And to do that over and over and over again in countries all over the world over the course of over 20 years to the tune of nearly 40 studies is unprecedented, just so you know, in the nutritional field. I work in this field, and I can tell you that there's not a single nutritional company in the world that comes close to it's not even in the same universe. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 studies on 10 or 20 people. That's nothing to what we're talking about here. So, and all these studies are available in PubMed and on the Juice Plus website of the person who invited you to this call. So please get with them if you'd like to get those studies in detail because they're all very, very publicly available. So back to the cardiovascular system before we wrap up. I want to talk about the Vineyard blend specifically for a minute because it was especially formulated for blood flow, improving blood flow, and more, but that was one of its main purposes, if you will. So the first thing to know is that grapes and berries have unique properties, but they don't work as well by themselves as they do, again, in synergy with everything else. So the best studies, the best results are always in people eating a variety of foods, and in the Juice Plus case studies, they're always using both all 3 blends, the trio. So using red, green, and purple, as I'm fond of calling them, is better than using just purple up themselves. But nonetheless, purple foods, I shall just say, have very unique properties. A couple of them you probably know. They're very powerful antioxidants, right? They're great purple things, blueberries, all that are well known to be superfoods if you want, and so they have a lot of antioxidants to neutralize those nasty free radicals we talked about a minute ago that are the cause of everything bad that we want to avoid. But they also, grapes and berries also have the ability to decrease clotting and minimize clots, which is really important. They also lower inflammation specifically. And then specific berries have specific things, like elderberries have a long reputation for helping prevent colds and flus and upper respiratory infections in general. So we know that the purple foods have specific chemicals in them in that purple range, anthocyanidins and other things that are particularly powerful. But there's a specific class of compounds in purple things that is particularly important, and those are the resveratrols and similar compounds. You may have heard of them, but resveratrol's been around, been known for a while, not that long, come to think of it, maybe a decade or 15 years, but that compound, resveratrol, and a bunch that are similar in nature combine and create something called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is the most powerful blood vessel dilator ever. It's massive. It's really strong. A little teeny bit goes a long way. Nitric oxide dilates blood vessels, and that brings more blood to that area. That's good, right? More blood is more nutrients, more oxygen, and getting rid of more waste more quickly. And so it's great for athletes, both for weekend warriors and for professional athletes alike. You get less lactic acid buildup, you have more oxygenation in tissues, you can go a little longer, a little faster, and you don't hurt the next day or the next day after that if you're a weekend warrior, because that's going to increase blood flow, will prevent that. So it's good for athletes. It's also good for your brain. More blood flow is better memory, better focus, and so Purple Juice Plus is great for both of those things. But Purple Things and Juice Plus also, Purple Vineyard, works the exact same way that Viagra and Cialis work, by the way. It increases blood flow. It's the exact same mechanism, exactly, nitric oxide. So we have a lot of good things we can get from our food, and increasing that with the nutrition, the concentrated capsules of Juice Plus, just protects the entire cardiovascular system, which is not plumbing. It's a huge, massive organ that has its own nutritional needs as it's bringing nutrients and oxygen to every cell in your body. It's responsible for your blood pressure and for the entire inflammation of your body going in your bloodstream and the antioxidant system, the clotting system. So I urge you to feed it well, because without good blood flow, without a system that can carry your life force, you don't have much else to worry about, because that's all there is. So, you know, I think that the capsules are amazing. I think that the shakes give people a great meal to start the day with low glycemic index and great protein and high fiber. It controls blood sugar, which is a whole other talk, but similar importance. And we're going to soon be having, can I say this? Soon be having a potential new product, or we will be having a new product that's going to be rich in all the omega oils, not from seafood, but from plant foods and seeds and algae. It'll give the full complement of omega-3 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 9 and 11, things that you may not have heard of. So a whole food omega product is coming your way to kind of complement the whole thing that we have to help you and me and all of us and our children live healthier and eat better and grow our own food in a tower garden and grab a shake or a bar to go and grab our capsules, and know that if we can't eat perfectly this day, if we can't get our 10 servings in today, that we're at least covered. And it's my favorite health insurance, really, true health insurance that I have. So I'll just close with the same thing I said back then. If you knew what I knew, if you've read everything that I've read and seen in 18 years of practicing with my patients using Juice Plus, I can't really get to tell you the things that I've seen that shouldn't happen according to my textbooks, but that routinely do when patients take Juice Plus. If you knew what I knew and have seen what I've seen for all these years with this company and with this product, you too would never miss a day and would never let anyone that you love miss a day of good nutrition and Juice Plus capsules and gummies and shakes and everything else you can.
Well, Dr. Sachs, thank you so much, and I'll never forget the first time I heard you say that, if you knew what I knew. And I've been very blessed in that I've been with the company many years, so I was there, you know, when Juice Plus was introduced, and I have not missed a day. And I've made sure that everybody I love has not missed a day. And I truly can see after all this time, I mean, you and I both, I mean, you from a medical profession, so, you know, you see, you know, that really difficult side of people's challenges. I just out here in the, you know, in the world as a layperson, but, you know, we certainly see the challenges that our friends, our family, our acquaintances have, and that, you know, the results when the body has what it needs to heal itself are amazing. And so we've watched this over and over, and I have to share with people just two things, and some of the things that you've said is, yes, there is going to be an amazing Omega product that will be introduced at our conference here at the spring conference. It's going to be in Anaheim, California. So we invite everyone out to come to that. It will be the, I think, 20th through the 22nd or 23rd of April. So you definitely want to put that on your list because that's going to be a particularly exciting conference just for the very reason that this very powerful product will be added to our Juice Plus family of products. And, you know, I don't know how many people remember this, but Juice Plus Vineyard, which is the berries that you were talking about tonight, all of the purples, we didn't have that originally. We introduced this line originally with Orchard and Garden, the fruit and the vegetables. So it was about, I guess, 7 or 8, maybe 9 years into the Juice Plus product. The products are 24 years old now. That Vineyard came along. And I can remember, you know, I felt as healthy as I thought I could possibly be, which is a great thing for me. I'd never been particularly healthy, never, you know, deathly ill, but never well. And it had made a huge difference already. And then when the Vineyard came along and I started taking it, I realized that my mental clarity was so much better. I mean, I didn't know my mental clarity was missing. That's the thing, is that many times.
You never do.
You don't. You never do. And many times, you know, there's so many things that you become either accustomed to or that kind of become the little things you deal with on a daily basis that maybe are not real pleasant or that you're not even aware of that you carry. And Juice Plus just makes such a huge difference. I would like to say to everybody tonight that I really have always admired Dr. Sachs. She's brilliant, first of all, and she has a huge passion for health, the health of the people that she treats and sees on a daily basis. And I know that she puts together for people and works with personalized wellness plans to help the individual really maximize their health challenges as well as stepping up into the, you know, best possible physical form. And that's what all of us. I mean, I always want to strive to live at the highest edge of my physical, you know, mental, emotional, existence, and financial and spiritual as well. We want it all, and we should. But Dr. Sachs is very good at helping people really capture that, you know, physical. And you might want to write to her, and it's okay if I give your email, Dr. Sachs?
The website would be great. You can contact me through the website.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
So what I have here,
thanks, sir.
Since I'm technically challenged, is a website, and it's basically her name.
It's just tsaxmd.com.
TSACSMD, so that's TSACHSMD.com.
Right.
So
there's a lot of information on there, pages of gathered with love, vetted scientific references and resources and tools that I hope people can take advantage of.
So we are, you know, we're very blessed as an organization, as a company, to have so many people who come to us from so many different walks of life. Today, we look at the millions and millions of dollars worth of products that leave our doors from a company standpoint, distributed throughout the U.S., throughout the world, and 1/3 of that product is because of physician referral. So, you know, there is a huge scientific community that follows us today because of the fact that the body, when given the right nutrition, really works to do its job, and that's heal itself. And important to know that, you know, Juice Plus is not a cure, so to speak, for anything. It is just to put your body in position to heal itself, to care for itself at the highest level, and it does it so very efficiently. So we really appreciate Dr. Sachs tonight for sharing her information, her expertise, always her commitment to the health of those around her and to the health and well-being of this product line and what it does for people. So thank you so much, Dr. Sachs, and to all of you on the line, the best of health to you, and hopefully we will see you in Anaheim, and you'll be part of really finishing out that picture with the Omega products, the Omega oils, to give everybody an amazing foundation with Juice Plus Orchard, Garden, Vineyard, and the Omegas. So thank you so much, Dr. Sachs, and thank all of you on the line. And we'll look forward to seeing you and talking to you soon. Bye, folks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Catch up with you